Alrighty, hey again everyone. We're back already with some more Minecraft. I've got 2, 3 hours until I gotta go to college, so I feel like playing some blockade and shit. Last time we got a pretty good pickaxe and fixed up our pants, along with getting the XP farm fully all built out and getting a blaze spawner farm built out. So we've got a lot of good stuff going on. It's currently day 76 in game, and we're mainly going to be focusing on getting some tools enchanted for today. I've got some additional trees planted. We're waiting for them to grow, and we need to cut those down and some of our larger trees down. But for now, what we're really prioritizing is cutting down, not cutting down. What's the word? What's the word? Enchanting. I don't know how I thought of cutting down there, but we're going to be focusing on enchanting diamond sword, shovel, axe, and those should be pretty much good for us. We got 18 diamonds, I'd say it'd be good to work on. I'm not too worried about my armor particularly. However, we are going to take some extra iron with us to get that going in case we get a good opportunity. And yeah, we're basically just gonna pop on over. No music again today. Just feel like not really having it. It's not really doing a lot for me, and it's not a big enough playlist, so it's definitely already getting to a point where it's looping. I can hear and remember enough of them that it annoys me, and so I'm like, nah, I'm good. But yeah, no, we've got nine. We've got nine potions of infestation, so we can run this farm 9 separate times, which that should be enough to get us to what we need, but we will inevitably need more gunpowder, because that's our bottleneck right now. It's gunpowder. We just don't have a lot of it. So I've used up all of it, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, I'm just talking to myself for now. I'm not really recording anything. I actually don't think I've recorded one of these in probably 2 years or something, and that was for a separate one I did off camera, or off stream rather, that I never ended up doing anything with, so. But, you know, it's good to talk, so I don't really mind it too much. Yeah, we need tools. We need a good couple of tools. We're gonna make a diamond sword, shovel, and we'll make an axe. There we go. I could probably get on breaking 3. Breaking 3. And yep, I'm seeing how this is gonna go. Wow, they really want me to get on breaking 3, huh? Alrighty, well I see how it is. It's all on breaking 3 the whole way down. Well, I guess what do we want on breaking 3 on first? I'm gonna assume probably one of the tools. So, yeah, we'll keep those around. Oh, wait, we should probably... Nah, I don't need gunpowder right now. I'll get it another time. Not too worried about it. No, it definitely took me a while to kind of get used to it as well, so I get where you're coming from, but it's just one of those things you kind of get better at as you just keep going along, or if you do stumble, you just try not to think too hard about it and you move on, you know? That's kind of the big thing for me that took me a while to figure out, but let's see, yeah, we'll go ahead and get the LA farm going. Why not? They're little guys. They'll walk it off. Oh, right, I forgot I actually had an infinite water source down here. And I should actually make a bucket because I need to keep a water bucket down in here. There we go. We'll keep them there. Alright, they should be going. Alright, and then this should be functional. So it's not going to be too great at the start because we're basically out of durability and the sleeping edge effect isn't too strong. This should at least get us by. Although this is definitely going to take some time to really get going. So we'll need to prioritize sleeping edge at some point. But this should be okay for now. Oh yeah, I've got a couple more. I think one of them had to have gone to... Man, I couldn't even tell you how long my big hardcore world has gone on for. That one has to have easily gone over, and that broke my sword. That one has to have easily gone over like 500 hours or something like that. Because because I made it to over 2,000 in-game days there, and then I kind of just stopped playing because I ended up making some pretty bad choices with my base, and I just kind of lost interest, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But I think we're gonna get Unbreaking on our shovel first. So I'm not too bad at it, only because I take a lot of time to like do a bunch of prep work first. So it's not necessarily difficult to not die, as long as you play cautious, but if you play too cautious, then you end up taking the fun out of things, and then that's what actually ends up making the game a lot less interesting, you know? Also, yeah, technical modded Minecraft can be pretty interesting. It's not my cup of tea personally, but I can kind of see the appeal of it, you know? Especially with Create. Like, I like... Alright, so that wasn't my... First of all, that wasn't my shovel. Second of all, I got Fire Aspect on that, which I don't really like. And I mean, Fire Aspect isn't bad or anything, per se, but it's not an enchantment I like to have usually on swords. I like Flame on bows, but Fire Aspect on a sword, it tends to mess with things, unfortunately. You know, creates a pretty cool god system. There we go, that's what we want. Because we need efficiency to work on some other stuff. Come on now. Try and get something on our axe as well. What we got? Breaking 3, yeah, we can go for that. Silk Touch is fine. I don't mind that too much. What the Tobal? Imagine going to bed. Couldn't be me. I actually did try and go into bed at like 10 this, like not this afternoon, 10 tonight, and then I woke up at like 12 or 1, I think, then I just ended up staying up until like 5 or 6. And then I think I took a nap from like 6 to 7 or something like that. Because I've been up a good bit working on getting my house moved over and things like that. Doing all the prep work I gotta do. Because that's been fun. Unbreaking. Yeah, let's see what we got. Thorns and nope. And Unbreaking. Alright. Great, great, great. Very good. That one's huge. That's a very good set of boots right out of the gate. Now, considering the sound is coming back, I'm going to assume that we're finally almost done beating these guys to death. We'll do it for Aquafinity. Why not? Damn! That's a good-ass helmet right there. That's what you want to see. That's literally perfect other than mending, so that's to be expected. Wow. Actual god pull. Oh yeah, if it last updated, that's not a beta 1.7, is it? But even then, just updating last in 1.7 is kind of insane for something like that. That definitely does take a while. We have enough for just one more level. There we go. Let's see here. Enchant the bed, sure. Thorns, you sly bastard. You thought you could thorn me. And you did. Yeah, not a big fan of thorns personally. It's never been my kind of thing. It's just, it's fine. You know, it's thorns. It's whatever. But really, it's nothing too special. Perfect helmet. Absolutely flawless. Love that helmet. And we're gonna make some extra boots to try and get some of those going too, because we need protection 4 and feather falling 4 on the boots. So we'll have to do a bunch of tiny rerolls until we get feather falling 4, or we can try and gamble it on feather falling 2, or we can gamble it on some books as well, which is not going to happen, so that's fine. Let's see here. What else we got that we want to enchant? Definitely another sword, I think. Our shovel is pretty much fine. Our axe, I think I want to get efficiency on it, so kind of go for that. Looting and sweeping edge on the sword is pretty important, but we don't need to worry too much about that right now. And another chest plate too. I think we need to take a minute to try and get that in order as well. Yeah, we'll launch another potion in there. That's what I'm feeling. We'll go and get that going. And while we're waiting, I guess we can try and organize our inventory a little bit better here. Tuck some extra bits away. We're gonna make another sword. That's what I'm feeling. Make another sword and axe. I don't really need to worry about the shovel for now. 1.12.2. Yeah, that makes sense, because that was before the flattening, right? Where they changed all the numerical IDs, and then before update Aquatic too, because I know that definitely messes with a lot of stuff performance-wise. It's always interesting seeing that kind of divide between versions, you know? But anywho, we've got all of our stuff here, so we're just gonna go ahead and get in a position and start beating the crap out of these guys. Which is still taking up a lot of my sword durability, but that's alright. I'm glad I ended up waiting to build like a silverfish farm, because again, these things as XP farms are legitimately super nice, you know. Having like a standard XP farm you can build just about anywhere is a pretty nice deal to have, and you don't get to do that too often. I'm gambling on Unbreaking, I don't really care. Are you for real? Come on, man. That's just not nice. How could you do that? Oh, gambled on Unbreaking and got Silk Touch a second time, which, whoops, that's no good. Oh well, we'll get him another time. We're gonna keep swinging here, and hopefully we'll get enough XP to enchant something else. I'm gonna probably disenchant that, probably gonna disenchant that axe, but we'll worry about that in a minute. Prot 3 and Breaking 3, there we go, that's better. Breaking 3 on the boots, which we don't care much about. Yeah, those are some of the bigger divides I remember hearing about too. I don't really play modded too often, so... we still need Feather Falling. And I also want to disenchant that Thorns chestplate as well, because it's pretty much worthless to me because it has thorns. So out it goes. That one's fine. We'll have to worry about that a little later. Yeah, why not? You just do not like me today, do you, game? That's so not cool either. I'm disenchanting both of them, I don't care. Ooh, looting too, now that's something I can get behind. That's a lot better. Not too big a fan of watermelon. It's fine. It's just kind of something that's there for me. I'm not too big a fan of it though. I've had it before, but same deal with cantaloupe. I don't know. They don't really do a whole lot for me. That's a good enchant. We want that. Now, if we're lucky, that sharpness 4 enchant will be pretty good. So. Now, considering we can start hearing them take damage, those always should be out of juice by now. Nice, good sword. Good sword. We'll disenchant the looting one. Smite we don't need. Let's see what's cooking on one of these axes that we need to disenchant. Hit it with the damn Silk Touch, man. It's not funny. Come on. Let's see here. Unbreaking 3. I'm looking for Prot 3. Shoot. Oh, I think it's turning nighttime here. We'll just do garbage enchants to try and re-roll. Because I really just need Prot 3. And again, seriously, you'd think I would get something a little bit better. Where's the bed? There's the bed. Duh. I wasn't very smart of me. We'll sleep there real quick. Should be easy. That is a hell of a lot of watermelon, that's for sure. I couldn't imagine eating that much in my entire life, frankly, because again, I'm just not that big a fan of it. Now, bananas, oranges, and apples, that's what we're talking. That's what it's all really about, you know. Three. Looks like we're running out of silverfish here, unfortunately. That's no good. Oh, you know. Yep, Prot 3 on a book, so that should be fine. We'll go ahead and do that. There we go. Prot 4 on the chest plate. Obviously, we're going to use it there because then we can combine our Prot 3 with that. So that's all good. And still not seeing a whole lot of other stuff. Efficiency 4. Okay, so we need that Prot 4 chest plate first. That's kind of my trade-off with that. And we'll go ahead and resplash these guys. There we go. So we want Prot 4 on the iron chest plate first and foremost. So let's go ahead and get that. Prot 4, that's fine. A little lame that it was just that, but hey, you know, that is what I was looking for, so that's all good. We still got efficiency 4 for the axe, and no feather falling for the boots. Or rather, feather falling 2, but not 3 or higher. It might get to a point where we just need to enchant a bunch of boots with feather falling 2 and smash them together, but again, if we gotta do that, it's not too big a deal. Alright, let's go ahead and get that axe put together. Fortune 3, efficiency 4. Directly goes against the Silk Touch 1, so those are going to have to remain separate. But again, I don't particularly mind. Breach 2, that's kind of a funny one to have in there. Ah, what the hell, why not? We'll do it. We'll see if we can get feather falling. Although we definitely are running out of basically everything. Yeah, we're running out of lapis pretty hard now, so... Right, we need to make sure we disenchant the right ones. That one alone. We'll save for the Prot 3, why not? We got a regular diamond sword we can enchant too. Yep, should have seen that one coming. Breaking. The real question is, do we go for unbreaking or do we go for the protection? I lied, it was a trick question. We're going for unbreaking. I'm gambling it. Let's go gambling. Well, not great, but honestly, I don't particularly mind. Feather falling 1. Alright. Prot 3 again. We will gamble on that. Let's make another iron sword here to hold us over for a little bit. There we go, that got us a 30, and let's see here, Prot 3. Another very good set of boots, but alas, no feather falling on it. What a shame. What a shame indeed. Well, I'll take what we can get for now. It is what it is. I think it's time to just take some time to enchant the different bits that we have. Go ahead and get this down to as cheap as we can get. There we go. Get these to Prot 4. For Prot 4 everything, we just need feather falling there, and then we actually have perfect gear otherwise. We'll tuck the extras away. Those can go away. We'll burn the rest of the gear that I don't care about. We'll go ahead and combine our swords. They should be able to get us to 6. There we go. We've got solid shovels and axes that we don't really need to do a whole lot with. Alright, he really just will refuse to die, huh? He's down there for now. Yeah, no, he really doesn't want to leave. There we go. Perfect. Alrighty. Got this stuff fixed up too. We're still collecting XP. There we go. We need Sweeping Edge on the sword at some point. And then Unbreaking on that axe, but we could combine it with Silk Touch to do that a lot quicker. I don't really need Silk Touch for a whole lot of things on an axe, so I don't really mind just kind of letting it go. That's all combined. Only got 2 lapis left, except for that last little one in the base, so... There we go, and that just got us at level 30, so that's pretty good. I guess we can combine these, so we can either get Silk Touch or Fortune. Now, realistically, what do you need Fortune on an axe for, right? What do you mine with an axe that needs Fortune? Exactly, it was a trick question. It was nothing. There's no correct answer. Or the correct answer is nothing, because it's dumb and stupid. So yeah, it is what it is. Pretty good pull. Again, we've still got some additional... We got a backup pair of boots. We got some feather falling stuff that we're working on. We got another pair of boots we can enchant, and then the rest of the armor can just go over there and die. That works. There we go. We got some extra minerals, our sword. We'll keep the books in there too. And then we've got some spare iron tools as needed. But we'll go ahead and toss that out, I guess. That should be fine for now. Got our spyglass and our boat. We can go ahead and organize those back a little bit. And then we've got a pretty clean inventory, other than our food, which we still, we need to start getting some extra food here, because it's been a little bit. But yeah, no, we've got pretty good tools. Should keep us going here for a very long time. And then otherwise, we don't really need to do a whole lot. That is very weird. The diamond sword says 7 attack damage, so it doesn't factor in sharpness. Oh, no, that might have been a modded thing that I'm thinking of, because I have definitely modded recently with a couple other friends, but it's a little odd. I'm not used to it. But, you know, we should be pretty good there. We got a bunch of good stuff. We're at full prot 4. We only need feather falling to really get the last little bit going. And this armor is going to carry us basically to the Ender Dragon, because I don't really need diamond armor for right now. And my tools are basically fine, barring mending on like 3 of them, and then on 3 pieces of armor. But again, since we're not doing any bits with villager trading yet, I'm not gonna worry about that. It looks like too the square of trees has been growing, except for birch. Funny enough, I wonder if it's something to do with them being a different type of wood, because that definitely feels a little bit too odd that I consistently can get oak trees to grow next to each other, but not birch for some reason. Like, no. We're gonna cut down those spruce trees, these dark oak, and then we'll have... I heard him. Oh, there he is. Right in the middle of my farm. Alright, little guy. Let's see what you got. I forgot you sell these now. This fucking blows. This would have been cool earlier, but not anymore. my crops. That's not nice. No, that's fine. We got him out of the way, that's all good. Do I have unbreaking? I do. Sharpness, looting, and unbreaking. That's pretty much all you need, honestly, so. Sweeping edge is good too, of course, but unless you're actually going out and killing a bunch of things simultaneously, it's not crazy necessary. It is still nice to have, though. So we are going to try and get that pretty soon. Right, let's see here. Leads, there we go. Stockpiling a bunch of those. And let's see here. What else? I wanted to cut down a bunch of the wood out there. And that's just what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and cut down all of the big spruce trees first. Coarse dirt, I keep forgetting about it, of course. See what I did there? But yeah, now we're going to get some coarse dirt because we need to finish putting the rest of it in there. Ooh, we'll just turn all the gravel into coarse dirt. I really don't care. We'll get more gravel at another point in time, I'm sure, so it's not too difficult. And then, yeah, we can go ahead and cut down those spruce trees first after we plant all of these down. It just makes it a lot easier for me to denote where things need to go, so that's why I like having them. And then it just turns into mining down these 4 trees for a little bit. But since we got efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3, this shouldn't take nearly as long as it would have otherwise, and then we also don't have to worry about breaking anything, so yeah. Or breaking our axe, rather. Now, unfortunately, we are out of lapis again, so we're going to have to stop enchanting for a little while. But that is something that we can go in and strip mine for pretty easy, so I'll probably take some time to do that after we cut down all these trees and replant. But yep, it looks like I'll officially be moving tomorrow, so again, gonna have to make sure I get that taken care of for most of tomorrow. Probably around lunchtime, so 12 or 1, something like that. I'm moving like 90 minutes away, so I can be a lot closer to my new job that I'm starting on Wednesday, and then I got some stuff too today that I need to make sure I go get printed and signed, and then I gotta double check that I have everything on me for when I get over there. Because there are some bits that I'm going to have to bring with me for onboarding. I think I'm doing onboarding for like 4 hours or something on Wednesday is what they had said. And then once I'm done with that, then I can go take an hour lunch, go to my department, and start meeting people. And then it's pretty much just trying to make sure I keep my nose clean and head above water. And just, yeah. Not that I do drugs or anything like that. I don't have the money to do anything that funky, but no, either way, it's just making sure I keep myself out of trouble and just go to work and show up. So, nothing particularly hard. It's just having a pulse, which, you know, I got enough of a pulse, I think. I don't know. I don't work here. But yeah, now we'll go ahead and get this last tree all cleaned up. Looks like we did have a log stuck in there, and I can see the other one that's in here too. Which is why I don't like growing oak sometimes, because we need to figure out how to limit these a little bit better. But I digress. How are we doing on durability? We've only blown through about 50, and we've cut down multiple trees, so not too bad all in all. Also need to cut down our bamboo that's there, because I'm going to need a lot of it for scaffolding here in the near future. This amount of wood, we can expand our storage greatly, and we can also start decorating some stuff a lot better and not feeling bad about using a ton of wood. I know swords like insta chop them, but I'm trying to save the durability on my sword since I don't have mending on it yet, so I'd rather use an axe for it. I feel like that's also one of the only blocks in the game, bamboo, to have like 2 primary tools, if that makes any sense. So you can break it with a sword to instantly cut it, or you can break it with an axe to still get like some kind of mining bonus, but it's not as good as a sword. And it's still considered like a correct tool. I don't know of any other blocks that have like 2 correct tools that you can use, you know? I got nothing. There's no like, there's no block that can be breaked with like a pickaxe and a shovel, or a pickaxe and an axe or something like that. It's always just been like all or nothing, so it's pretty interesting to think about. It looks like too these should grow just fine, unless mixing the different leaves together causes issues, but at the same time I don't think that's the case. I think they're just being stubborn, so. Already been streaming for 31 minutes, damn, it's already been half an hour, huh? Oh, let's not worry about that right now. Let's see here, spruce is going there. Wow, that is a lot of spruce. Bamboo is already full, because of course it is. We are gonna need to fix that pretty soon. So yeah, it's probably time to really sit down and expand out our storage area as much as possible at some point in the future, because we really do need it. Got our coarse dirt, that can go there. And then we'll go ahead and cleave on through the dark oak. Get some extra dark oak wood out of this. Make sure to tear the leaves out as well with the hoe, since we get the fortune bonus with it, so that'll be good to have. I like dark oak, not so much for building, but mainly for, and it looks like it does keep the coarse dirt there, so that's good. So we have permanent markers for these kinds of trees. We can't for the, we can't have them for the spruce, because the spruce will override it with podzol, but at least we got markers for the rest of the trees, so it's easier to know where to plant them consistently. But no, I like dark oak a lot more for, kind of like a junk wood, right? So like wood that you use to make ladders and chests and things of that nature. Just so that way, because it's a pretty dense tree and it's really easy to cut down just a little bit, and you get like 40 logs per tree, usually, something about that. So just cutting down these tiny little trees gets you a lot of wood in a nice little dense place. And then they're not as big and towering as spruce trees, so it makes it a little bit easier too. Yeah, just from those 3 trees we got 64 and 48, so a good bit over 100 logs. Close to about 115 or so, something like that, I want to say. Go ahead and take that out. There we go. Cut up the rest of our pale oak that we got. Kind of surprised the other sets of pale oak saplings haven't grown yet. I do think it is funny, not funny, but I do think it is odd that they did not grow when they were that close to the sugarcane farm, so that may have a part to play in all that. So they may be too close either to a block physically on the side, which shouldn't have been an issue, or the sugarcane itself is blocking it because it physically gets too tall for like obstructing it. Like if I were to mine all this away, I don't know if it would still stay or not, or if it would grow. Also, get up here. Great, and I was about to say we got no pale oak saplings out of that, which is super concerning, but nope, we did. That's all good. We only got 4? Really? Damn. That's not good luck at all. And it's definitely got fortune 3, so It's a pretty abysmal drop rate. It's not good at all. Oh, we also need to get these before they despawn as well. I do need to replant all my spruce. And we don't need to grow too much more bamboo than that, realistically. At some point, we might for some of the different logs and stuff like that. So again, it's like a good wood to have for making chests and things like that. But otherwise, it's there. You know, we don't really need it. Let's go ahead and get these planted. There we go. Kind of curious to see if they'll grow with bamboo being this close or not. We'll find that one out soon enough, I'm sure. And then as for these, realistically, if we need to, which we probably will, we'll move everything over one block so that way they're physically not near it. I kind of wanted it to be out of the way a little bit so we had some buffer between like the actual path and like the trees or whatever I was growing at the time, but to be honest, it's not too big of a deal, so I'll probably just bite the bullet and just get it done, you know. It might look a little funky, but again, it's not like that bad. And then with that, what we can go ahead and do is get out our coarse dirt, make our partition line, coarse dirt again, partition line. You know how far we need to drag this out. Right, and then coarse dirt is part of that, so that's not going to work. There we go. And then I think we're going to need some regular dirt again. Yeah, and I don't feel like just getting a little bit at a time and replacing it, so we're just going to head back and grab a stack of dirt real quick. That should be easy. There we go. Grab some extra coarse dirt as well. And while we're here, we'll go ahead and drop off our leftover saplings for the time being. We broke even on saplings after all that, which is a little concerning, I'm not gonna lie, but we'll get more in the near future, I'm sure, so we'll see what we did. Let's see our bamboo. Again, we're basically completely full on bamboo and sugarcane, so we are gonna have to expand our storage a little bit better to account for that. But again, I don't think we're quite ready to do that yet. We're close, but we're not there yet. Go ahead and just mine all this away, like so. There we go, so there's all of our coarse dirt pads. They'll get replaced with grass soon enough as we kind of go through. You can leave those intact, and then really it just turns into having these get placed down. There we go. There we go. And at some point, when we grow everything back, we'll see if they actually grow properly or not. I'm gonna guess that they do, but I don't know for sure yet. So we'll let those be. What am I doing? Duh, come on. There we go. Perfect. We should have a little bit of extra meat we can use. Because it's also time to go take care of the farm animals, because we haven't done that yet today. We need a pair of shears, and we got a bunch of meat. And we need to go breed up some more sheep and cows. Don't really need cows for a whole lot, but it is still nice to have some easy way to get leather for books, things of that nature, so it is worth doing. And I think this is about near the upper limit of sheep that I really want, because anything more than this and they're going to start depleting this grass like way too heavily. So that'll probably cover us. And then as for the cows, get them all bred up too. Let them do their thing. There we go. And yeah, we got another 50 wool or so out of all that with those sheep. That's pretty good. Still getting a little bit more here and there too from some of the adults, but yeah, no, 51 should be plenty for now. We only really need it for ancient city raids at this time. You know, we don't need a whole bunch right now for anything else. I just use it for going through the ancient city and get some stuff done down there. And now we finally have enough infrastructure and a little bit more time to get stuff done. So now we can just dig. We have a lot of digging to do, but now we can just go ahead and start digging out the chunks that we have and flattening everything out to the level below. And now that we have efficiency, this goes by way quicker. So that's why we're so kind of hell-bent on getting good tools and XP and stuff like that first, because I knew it would make it way easier to do. So, and it was definitely worth it. Also gonna make sure we keep our pathing all nice and thick. We really don't have any cobblestone. Damn. Well, I'm not gonna waste slabs on it for now, so I would rather just come back to that part a little bit later. But again, just to recap kind of what the idea is for this base, we're literally just flattening out a massive area of chunks as denoted by these hay bales to the point that we can build some pretty large circles and have a big circular, so I'm calling it a chunk base, where we can have basically every farm under the sun in one easy to find centralized area that we can AFK at, and then kind of do some cool stuff from there. Definitely not a particularly original idea, although at the same time, I don't know of anybody who's really ever sat down and made one of them too. So that's kind of the other thing with it. We're like, yeah, I'm not the first person to come up with that idea, but I don't know of anybody else yet who's built them. The only person I can think of that's built something similar was Cubic Meter, I believe. And that was more just to showcase, like, what do you call it, like an omni farm, where you have every farm that you can farm in, again, one area. Except for me, hopefully, it's going to be integrated directly into my base. So we'll see how that goes. Sucks. Got some emerald, that's cool. 2 out of it this time. Nice. Normally they tend to only give me 1, so it's a welcome surprise. And yeah, mining just takes a while no matter what you do for it, unfortunately, so this is just gonna, well, especially since we don't have haste as well, that's kind of the other deal. Once we get a hold of haste, it gets a lot easier, but obviously that's not gonna happen for a long time, so I'm not gonna hold this off until I get haste, you know? It's just not too good an idea. And besides, we can tear through most of this pretty quickly. Stone is obviously a lot tougher, but the dirt is the bulk of it, and I can definitely get through that pretty easy, so I'm not too worried about it. Pretty cool. We need to put all these away and then also sleep, but we're gonna sleep first. Get that done. And then let's go ahead and get some of this dirt put away. Now, unfortunately, we're going to not have too good of a storage system because this is gonna fall apart pretty much instantly with just the sheer volume of stuff that we're gonna be dealing with here. So that kind of sucks, but at the same time, you know, we can manage, so we'll worry about that a little bit later, but we will expand out our storage pretty soon. I mean, even just walking through all this, we've already got another couple stacks of dirt that we're going to have to worry about at some point. This is definitely one of those trust the process kind of builds. So again, it's not going to be particularly good until it's all done. Well, let me rephrase that. It's going to look a lot better when it's done. But getting to that point, it's going to look fine. Like, it'll serve as well as a base and just kind of be here. But it's going to be a lot better once it's all fully done. Which I guess goes for a lot of stuff, but it's more so here considering I'm trying to build 3 giant tubes that go all the way up to like world height more or less, so that's gonna take a lot of time and finesse to build the structure and the gradient that'll go with it, but it will be worth it once it's all done. And then that gives us a crap ton of closing space to decorate and mess around with. Which again, as I've talked about before, it's good to have restrictions on certain things that you're doing, so that way you have to be a little bit more creative to fill the space without just being like, oh, I can just make more space, you know? So that's also where a bunch of real creativity happens, when you have like limitations that you have to work around. But we've dug out yet another little chunk here, which is good. You can see how quick and effortless that was by comparison to the other bit that we dug out, just because it was a lot of dirt and only a little bit of stone. Which speaking of which, we now need to go put away again, because we're already full again. And yeah, we are running out of space incredibly fast here, so we are going to have to probably stop and take some time to patch that up. And then you can kind of see up here a little bit, but this is the spot where we still got the most of the work cut out for us, where we really need to do the most is when it starts sloping up into this mountain, because then like we still have dirt that we can cut through, sure, but most of this is going to be stone that goes down quite a lot, so it gets a lot tougher compared to what we've been doing over there. And then yeah, honestly that's probably a good enough amount of digging for me to be happy for today. I don't really feel a need to dig out too much more than that, considering we've dug out a pretty good bit there. And next time we'll dig out some more, but for now we're gonna go ahead and probably expand our storage. I think we're overdue for that. We are definitely overdue for that. Yeah, alright. I guess the main question is, how do we want to make our base a little bit bigger here? Oh, first of all, I think we need to drop the floor a bit, because we want it to be flush with everything else going on there. Oop, there we go. And then it's literally just a matter of, let's go ahead and dig this out. And then log-wise, go ahead and take some spruce and turn it into planks. Turn those planks into chests. And then, let's see here. Get down under here for a little bit. There we go. Oh, I forgot I cooked up a bunch of extra food in there too, huh? Completely forgot about that. There's our crafting table again. Those down. Here we go. Let the grass kind of spread through. There we go. Literally all we gotta do is mine away our gates. And put them down like so. There we go. That. Put that down. And then we're going to go ahead and move all of our dirt into here that we have hoarded. There we go. The cobblestone we'll put down in another chest too. We're going to leave the slabs and stairs in here though. Horse dirt and podzol, we'll put those down in the corners, since those are pretty infrequently needed. Sticks as well, we're going to put in here. And then otherwise, yeah, I mean, we've got everything else already pretty well sorted. Nothing else really blows up in terms of storage, unlike some of the other crops and things like that that we got going on. So I bamboo is something that we're gonna go ahead and stockpile here for now. And I think sugarcane as well, because those are things that I want to just have a lot of space to harvest without having to worry about it too much. Kelp is pretty niche. This is pretty much all the kelp we're ever going to use, because it's mainly more for setting up bubble vaders and whatnot. I don't tend to get a lot of value out of it for a lot of the other stuff I do, so I tend to just ignore it personally. And that's all good. We have plenty of room for our little ones, and we can expand them out later. Flowers are obviously fine. Sugarcane can go there. Add that extra little bit for other woods as we need them. And then something like this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to redig our tunnel to just go straight out across. F3 and G, there we go. There we go. And we're basically just going to need some dirt. There we go. We can continue digging this across. This is just going to go down and out straight through here. The sun's setting too, so we need to be a little mindful of that. But all this is just a clean tunnel straight through, just because I wanted to line up with the axis that we got going on here. So it looks cooler if we do it that way. And then this still leads out to the sheep pen and all that, so it works out pretty well. It just leads out to a slightly different spot, so we'll have to adjust accordingly if we need to. And yeah, the sun is definitely starting to set. Now I did hear some sheep, which is a good sign because we broke through. Way quicker than it used to be, which is always nice. There we go. We'll go ahead and dig on through there. We're going to replace the floor with dirt too, so that way we can have everything tiled in as well. Or rather, we can path everything if we replace the floor with dirt. So again, straight line across, we're just going to dig everything out. Nice little bit of pathing here, and we're done. And then we'll just slap some torches down. Pretty much wherever, every couple of blocks. There we go. Still want it to be even on both sides, obviously, so we're going to take a little bit of care. But honestly, that's fine. Don't need to do too much more than that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get that side all blocked away. Seems like they're all gonna push each other directly into this corner. Right in the way of each other. Let's see if we can lure most of them out. There we go. You really tried it. They always try to break away, but they never can. And then from here, all we're really gonna do is blend this with the landscape here a little bit. So doing a little something like that. Here we go. Do something like that, and as the grass grows in, it'll look better. And then all we really need to do is come around the other side, and we'll leave these intact. We'll just make sure that this is lit up, and then we'll block it off with cobblestone just to keep like a flush wall, or replace that with regular stone one of these days, but I don't really care right now. And then we're gonna switch out the floor here with dirt, so we can get that in the grass as well. I basically just want a big bit of flat grass that we can build whatever on, and it looks nicer. And then that makes it easier to visualize that set of rings that we're going to be building as well for our pillars. So yeah, it all works out. Yeah, we're going to take some time to go strip mining for a good bit. That's what I'm feeling that we're going to want to do today. We want more diamonds to work on some extra stuff, and then that also gives us some time to get some more lapis as well, because we're going to need a lot of that. I'm not too worried about that coal, so I'm going to leave it alone. I need to go put that wheat back in the sheep pen as well. I actually out of dirt for once, huh? Well, we'll go get some more real quick here in a minute. But first, let's go ahead and take care of that. I already see it's blending in pretty well. We do want to take out a couple of bits though. There we go. Do a little something like that. And then this is where we get out a water bucket and we let it flow. And we get out a water bucket, we let it flow. Oh, depth strata, right? Yeah. And already that's pretty much cleaned up everything that we've needed. Good. Except for some of these bits, I guess. Yeah, wildflowers are pretty, they're just kind of there, you know. I mean, they don't really do a lot for me personally, but I'm sure I'll use them in decoration at some point, and then I'll be like, wow, I'm so glad these existed. But I haven't had that moment yet for sure, so who knows. Of course, we got another corner here that we will have to dig out and replace with dirt. There we go. Then we'll go ahead and clean up our inventory a little bit and drop off some of this, and then we will go mine for some diamonds. Get that going. Yep. Some dirt. Got some of that. Various stones. There we go. Those are the coal blocks. That'll cut down on a lot of that. And then extra sticks. Where was my wood chest? Here we go. I'll turn those into torches so we can keep those. And then we'll go fill up the dirt spaces here. They'll fill with grass over enough time, so we've got plenty of time, so I don't need to speedrun getting the grass or anything like that. They're just kind of there. And yeah, I've got about 2 hours here before I have to go. Realistically, I'll probably leave maybe in an hour, hour and a half from now. Probably an hour and a half, I'd say would be a good time. Just to make sure that I'm getting everything ready to go to college for today. There we go, we got that. And then we've got at least a quarter of it all dug out, so that's pretty good. Can't complain too much about that. 1, 2. Get some of those out. Away, put those away. We've got our extra bits of wood. Go. For tools we don't particularly need, they're nice to have. Yeah, straight way through, that's always good. This corner is going to be the toughest by far, just because of how high it ends up going, which means we get more stone. Although this corner isn't exactly going to be easy either, and in fact, the rest of them are actually going to be pretty damn annoying, it looks like, because we're going to actually have to dig quite a lot of stone to get them. Again, the dirt parts will be pretty easy, but stone is just going to take a lot of time to slice it. We should also fill that up too, because that is something I meant to do. There we go, nice and easy. And then all of those paths will get redone at some point after we flatten everything out so they flow a bit more naturally. Because you can already see that if this is going to be the border that we need to drop everything down to, then when we get up to here, we're going to have a massive bit that we'll have to staircase up into. So, yeah, that's going to take some time. But we're not going to worry about that for right now. Got the main bits done. We got our base built up to be a good bit taller with some more stuff on it. I think we also need to do a little something like that for now. And get our ladders, because we're going to need to inevitably expand these out onto different floors. And also we want to make sure that all this is properly lit up as well, so we don't get jump scared by anything later on. But yeah, we're going to have to inevitably fill in a ceiling of some kind here as we're kind of building this through, so we don't need to for right now, but it is something that is going to have to happen at some point in the near future. Anyways, that's going in there. We're going to go ahead and sleep. And it's time to go strip mining for, I think, lapis. I'm feeling lapis right now. We can always get more diamonds a little bit later, but lapis is such a massive pain in the ass for a relatively small payoff that I would rather get it out of the way early and just have a lot of them. There we go. So yeah, what this turns into is I go down a hallway and I mine a bunch until I run into lapis, and then I say, wow, I got some lapis, and then it's pretty much good. So luckily, now that we got fortune, any lapis we find from here on should be pretty big by default. Not to mention if we keep running into little bits of iron and redstone, coal, things like that, always ends up being nice. It's a good find. A little bit more iron. But we are plenty good on iron for right now, but we are definitely going to blow through it at some point, making some smaller farms. Hey, some diamonds, nice. I guess that's another benefit too. Technically, I should have saved like the, wow. 17 from 6, that's pretty good. Technically, I should have saved the regular diamond ore because it's supposed to be like a lot rarer nowadays, but I don't care. I don't plan on using it for decorating, and obviously there's nobody to trade with in single player, so it's more of a, it is rare, but not that I need to really care about that, you know? I can just find 1, maybe 2 veins of lapis and mine in the fortune. We should be pretty much smooth sailing on it for a pretty long time. Because, I mean, once you hit a certain point and you enchant everything, you don't really need more, right? So, it just takes time to initially get it started, but once it's done, it's done. So, hopefully we get lucky enough to get to that point here pretty soon, sooner rather than later. But again, we'll see. It is nice getting a little bit extra gravel though, since we burned through all of it making coarse dirt. Probably not going to use it for a lot, but it is still nice to have. And just from 2 ore we got 17 redstone, so pretty good too. We don't need a lot of redstone yet, but I know for some of the things we build in the future, we're definitely going to need a pretty big chunk of it, so again, the more we get early, the better off we're going to be. You know, it pays dividends and then some just to do a little bit of planning ahead of time, and then when you've actually done the planning, it makes executing a lot of things way easier, and then you can do a lot more if you just take a little bit of time to plan. You don't need to plan out every step into the future or nothing, but just having a rough idea of what you want and what it would do kind of gives you something to work towards, so it's good motivation, and then you can actually have some good goals for there. So for me, one of my goals right now is getting my bachelor's finally, because with that bachelor's, I get a lot more access to a ton of different jobs, and then that also means I don't have to worry about college for a good 8 months or so until I go back probably in fall next year. And then it's just a load off on my back to not have to worry about not having my degree yet because I'm 1 class short. And then outside of that, I want to start working towards a set of master's degrees because they have a deal at the college I'm attending that I can do 48 credit hours for or 60, okay, excuse me. So I can do 2 master's degrees, and instead of it being in 60 credit hours, it'll be in 48. So I'll get to skip like 4 classes while getting 2 degrees out of it, which is very good. And then it's in fields that I actually want to learn. So it's in data analytics and computer science, and data science and computer science. And specifically the computer science, there's a data analytics section, but there's also a software engineering section. And I can actually take both of them, which would be good, and it'll overlap with the data science degree nicely, which gets me a little bit more technical in there. So it's a lot more computer classes and things like that I'm used to, so it'll definitely be pretty tough to learn, but it gets a little bit easier as you get a little bit older, you get a little bit more money and experience too, and once you can get to a point where you can start applying certain concepts and terms you actually see and understand, that's when I really feel like you get a lot of learning done, you know? So for me, what that looks like is relating it to things I've done at my job and putting it in some financial terms. I've been working with them for a good couple of years, and once I can start thinking about it in context of how I've used it to help people or doing certain projects, then all of a sudden it gets a lot easier to learn new stuff, you know? And it also helps too because it doubles as a motivator, because usually carrying degrees like that, you get a lot more money out of it. Ooh. Looks like we're getting into Windswept Hill territory because we are starting to run into some silverfish stone. Pretty big chunk of it too with that. It looks like we're near a cave. Let's see, are we in a lush cave? Nope, we're still in a meadow biome technically. I'm keeping an eye out for lush caves too, by the way, because I want some moss. I don't have any moss yet, and that stuff is invaluable for a lot of different farms, so the sooner we get that, the better off we'll be there too. But again, there's not a particularly big rush for it, so I don't really mind waiting. Yeah, it looks like Lapis is a bust for right now, so we're probably just gonna say fuck it and go mine for diamonds or something. Because why not? I think we're out of luck here, unfortunately. Which is definitely a bit of a bummer, but, you know, we'll branch out to the sides and hopefully get some better luck, I'm sure, another time for Lapis, but we don't need it right this second, so it's fine. Actually, why don't we branch out here? Why not? We'll just go until our inventory's filled up here, which will be pretty soon. Well, shit. I'm glad I did that then, because that got us the Lapis we were looking for. Damn, what are the odds of that, huh? And we can condense a good chunk of that away, nice and simple. That got us to 51 Lapis with just a single vein of like 3. So a very good find to get right now. So that'll feel a decent little bit more of enchanting. I mean, if we got all the stuff we have with just a stack of Lapis, then getting another stack will basically finish everything for just having perfect gear. Which again, we don't have to have right this second, but you know, since we're here, we'll try and go for it a bit more. Also make some more torches. And yeah, honestly, that's fine for now. So we'll go ahead and head back up to the soul sand portion. Looks like it's nighttime. It might be daytime though. It's hard to tell with not having the light anymore, unfortunately. There we go. Got our deep slate chest there. Granite as well. Something that we'll have to split apart and deal with our diorite. Gravel, andesite's going there. There we go. Let's make some coal. Also pack some of this away into lapis blocks. There we go. That'll cook up to 56, that's all good. And yeah. Oh, let's also get this dirt put away too. And these ladders, I don't know why I missed out on these. There we go. We'll also have to come up with a better system for storing other wood bits, because that's also going to be another pretty big pressure point, just because of how much wood we have that we could store. So you've got so many different types of wood that you can use too. So you've got your logs, your planks, your stairs, your slabs, signs, fences, fence gates, and then I think that's pretty much it. Buttons, technically, but that's kind of dumb, so we're going to ignore that. Then otherwise, it's just kind of whatever. Yeah, we're going to pick this direct. Damn. Alright, sure. I was just going to pick this way because I didn't manage to branch out to the other path yet because of the lava, but hey man, I'll take the free 2 diamonds. That actually gave us 5. Cool. Oh, that was a lucky break. Damn. Got another batch already. Nice. That brings us up to 17 and 19. Okay. Wow. That was a very good find. Glad we made that turn then. And some more redstone, always very nice. That would have been pretty embarrassing, so I'm glad I stopped short of that. Just barely, though. I think we'd break away from this lava by now, but apparently not. And we're still not really getting lucky with lapis down here this low. Had a lot better luck up at Y0, which, yeah, I mean, that is what the wiki said, but that's still pretty lame, so... Also gotta wonder too if there's an optimal way, and I'm sure there is because it's probably like based on just normal strip mining, but if you know the range of a certain ore that you're trying to get, right? So in this case it's gonna be lapis or it could be diamond or redstone or whatever. You know that there's a range you can get. What's the optimal way to mine out that part of the chunk so you expose every single block that you can to air to check for lapis, and B, for something like lapis where it's more common at the center of it and it gets less common near the ends of its probability, what's the amount of layers you would have to dig to ensure that you get like more than X amount of lapis, right? So if I wanted to make sure that within between layers -32 and +32, that I got 95% of lapis, how many layers of a particular strip mine would I need to dig? And then what would that look like, basically? Because there has to be a way to figure that out. I'm sure there's some statistical way you can prove that or do that or whatever. That would actually probably be a good product to apply statistics to, and just, damn, there was just an ore vein there, and we just got another one here. We're in a chunk border? We're not? This is all in the same chunk? Damn. That's really uncommon. Wow, okay. Ooh, and this is a fat vein, too. This is like a 9 vein. Holy shit! Oh my god, it was 2 veins put together. That was like 13 or 14. Wow. You legit do not see that often at all. That was really good. Oh, just in the little trip we've had, we've almost got to a stack of diamonds, so that's pretty damn good. But now we can definitely splurge and get some diamond armor pretty soon if we really want to. I'm probably not gonna get diamond armor for a while though, because again, we have some really good iron here that I would rather stick with for a while, so... And there's nothing... The only benefit to diamond right this second for me is like the... Damn! Anyways, the only... Okay, that one was definitely because of a chunk border. the only benefit to diamond right now is just the increase in durability and I guess the protection values a little bit, but not really as much. That's not the same. And I guess going back to that lapis thing while I'm still thinking about it, that's another thing too, because there's only so many blobs it generates per chunk in its appropriate bands. So is there an optimal way to dig that would involve digging near chunk borders, right? Where basically you would have one strip mine on one chunk border of a chunk, and then you'd have a strip mine on the opposing border as well. So it covers the middle section because you can physically reach far enough, but then you also dip into halfway through each chunk on your left and right as well. So that way you're getting into like 3 chunks of it while mining basically 1 chunk's worth of strip mines. And then could you do it with like a height border too to some extent, where if you dig up high enough as you're strip mining, is it still efficient doing that? You know, just a ton of other questions like that. So that probably would be a pretty cool thing to do some testing for. But I know there have been plenty of videos about the optimal way to strip mine in terms of like what you're exposing to air, and then it also factors in like the size of like ore chunks too. So that's why I dig out 3, because if you have an ore there or there, then anything that's in the middle would get exposed. Also, damn. I was about to say we're about to dig into some lava, but just kidding, we're about to dig into some diamonds. Seriously, this is like way too many. Is this shit bugged or something? Because they're legit, does that... Interesting. It really doesn't feel like there should be this many diamonds like back to back to back to back to back like that, you know? I mean, we're at like 81 here with what we have, which is huge. Like that is a serious... Well, we've hit our natural dead end here as far as I'm concerned. Frankly, 81's fine, so we're gonna run these back to the base and be happy with them. Because, god damn. But on the other hand, well, now I don't have any wool, so actually that would be a really dumb idea. I say we could go back into the ancient city and go try and loot some more, but again, nothing there worth grabbing for right this second, except if there was a pair of diamond pants with Swift Sneak. That would be worth grabbing, but we haven't found anything like that yet, and we don't have the material on hand to do that, so... Kind of seeing too how we're doing in terms of mob spawns. It looks like they do manage to stay pretty far away, which is good. And of course, we do have a lot of lighting we would have to do to make things a little bit safer, but it's definitely not too bad. Did I take fall damage somehow? What the hell was that? This wasn't loaded because that should have already been smelted by now, unless we just had that passive a trip. But that evened out to 9 diamond blocks, which is absurd. So in that little bit of time, we've went from 2 diamond blocks to 11, which, damn. I will gladly take that. And we're doing good on stocking up on our cobbled deep slate as well for our bottom layer that we're going to be building for our base, which is always nice. We got our leftover dirt there too. And then just kind of looking around, I think we need to take a second to focus on food for a little bit, because we don't really have a whole lot. I think we should dip into our log chest here. There's our sticks, there they are, and our coal. And we should go make some campfires. Yeah, that's fine. That should be plenty. That creeper despawned. I should have gone out to kill it while I still had the chance, because I could have gotten some extra gunpowder out of that. Now that I got looting and sharpness, it would have been a lot easier, but that's alright. We'll get it another day, I'm sure. It's nothing to worry about. Okay, I forgot to plant stuff here, apparently, as you can tell. Damn, are we just not loading this area enough? Because that's kind of what it's feeling like. Because these should definitely be able to grow. And I understand if these don't, because they're pretty close to bamboo. But these, I mean, come on. Oh, we never put back the dirt we took out of that either. Whoops. My bad. Drawing a blank. Right, campfires for baked potatoes. Because we do want a little nook for baked potatoes. though it looks like something stepped in here that it shouldn't have. There we go. Nice bit. And then we'll probably cover the top up with dirt or something. Yeah, we'll be living off of baked potatoes for a while here as a main food source. We can get a stack of them every 30 seconds, so we can afford to have quite a lot of food pretty early, which is nice. That was my entire inventory, which is now potatoes. That was an arrow, that was just a wildflower. Alright, and then I also need to check my email for hopefully a letter from the place I'm going to be staying at. I need to make sure that they actually offer me something today, like officially, so I can say for sure that, like, yeah, we're definitely getting it, you know? That's not something I want to scrooge on, or that's not something I want to wait on too long, so let's double check and see if they sent anything. Application was approved, so yeah. Alright. Perfect. Oh, are those the okay, I'll call them to double check just to make complete sure, but it looks like they do have 50 amp sites, which is good. So I'm gonna have to double check on that one though, because I'm a little paranoid that, and I don't know why that would be the case, but I'm a little paranoid that somehow they're not, because I made it very clear that I wanted 50 amp, and I know that the standard sites that I was reading up on were like the 914 ones, but they only went up to like 30 amps, and then that's why they were standard and they were priced like that. Oh, that's enough for 16 exactly. Oh, so we can cook a stack of potatoes at a time. That's pretty good. But yeah, no, I think that'll finally fully cover me, so I don't have to worry about not having a place to go to. But it's been formally approved, which means I need to go to their website and look at their site map a little bit later today. And then I'm basically just going to pick out a site that hopefully is a little bit farther out of the way from everyone, and then that means I get to be loud like I usually am, and won't bother anyone. But we'll cook up like 3 stacks of potatoes. We don't really need much more than that, so we'll just sit here and wait for a bit. Pick out that site map. Let's see here. They don't have a picture of the site map here, do they? I'm positive they do, because I'm very confident I did see it. But I may need to look for that a little bit later, because I'd rather not die out here by accident because it becomes nighttime or something stupid. But yeah, this will get us plenty of food to start out with once our steak is gone, so that way we don't have to worry about killing a bunch of cows for food and cooking them or anything like that. Although they are still a very good food source, I just don't like doing it because I don't really need to, because it's a lot extra versus just harvest potatoes, cook them, and then you're done, right? So we're gonna go run these potatoes down to my little double chest that I got over here. Boom, there we go. Put the campfires there too. Go ahead and harvest these. I think the last thing we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna we're going to replace our torches with lanterns, and then we're also going to build that overhang that I talked about before a couple of days ago. By a couple of days ago, I think I mean yesterday. So that way we don't have to worry about anything turning to ice in or near the farm that we have over there. Which you really shouldn't, so I'm not too worried about it. It's also part of the reason why I want moss blocks too, because they do look a lot better since it's green on all edges instead of it just being on the top for grass. So if we want moss, we've got a couple of different options. We can go find a lush cave, which would probably be the easiest way, or we could go find a shipwreck and then get lucky there, or if we get lucky, I think wandering traders sell moss, but again, realistically, we're looking at just finding a lush cave and getting some stuff done in there, so nothing too bad. And we will get that one done when we get it done. I think we're going to be full up on wheat seeds, yeah, so we'll have to quit hoarding all those at some point. Goes away, that's fine. We actually had some extra diamonds in here. Goes away, there we go. Gets us up to an extra 18 there. That away, there we go. Put that back. Actually, no, we'll keep these for now because we're going to use them for pillaring. And then I'm just going to focus on building the frame of it. I don't really want to fill it in until I get moss because I want moss because it looks a little bit neater. So pillar's going to go here in the corner. Go. Now, I still want it like this specifically because this lets me just walk straight out of the sugarcane farm into wherever else I want to go. So it looks a little bit better. And then we're going to have this here. Yep, there we go. The back corner we're going to have this put down in. Do something like that for now, and then that gives us a nice square to put our moss down on. Because then we can also blend it with the terrain a bit better up here. And it also looks pretty good from underneath too. So, or alternatively, what we can probably do is have like a layer of cobblestone here as like a sub ceiling, or like as a, not really a subfloor, but like as a sub ceiling, and then layer of moss across the whole top, and then that gives us an excuse to like drape it off the sides, and we can have, ooh, leaves actually might look good too. Well, no, because I want moss, I want like an actual solid block to build on, but that'll be an okay frame to get us started with, so I don't really mind. Again, you can still walk in and through, and then we can seal off some of the other bits. Additional support. There we go, do a little something like that. And then we'll go ahead back to our bed, and that will probably do it for me today. I don't really have too much more I want to do right this second, and I gotta make sure I get everything else done that I'm looking for today. I'll be back later this afternoon, probably to stream, or later this evening, but we will figure that out when we get to that point. It's currently day 85 in game, and we yet again have gotten a pretty good chunk done. So yeah, that's going to do it for me for right now. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see y'all again next time. Bye-bye.